Hi guys, and welcome back to Lasting Peace. You are sitting outside with me and my dog Brave. I think this may be the first time that I've shown him to you in person. This is therapy. This is therapy. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about exercising and training. I've had a few questions related to that, and so I've been really thinking about it and what caused the shift in my mind. What helped me to get past my addiction to exercise? That was a huge component of my eating disorder. I relied on exercise as my safety net. It was they've often related it, some clinical definitions have related exercising to purging for some anorexics. It was my solution to anything I ate, or if I overate. It was what made me feel okay with myself. It was non-negotiable. It was something I did no matter how I was injured or what happened. It was a significant part of my eating disorder, and it may or may not be for you. But there were two verses that, as I was thinking about these questions, came to mind, and I remembered that they had been of huge impact to me when I was seeking recovery and seeking God in my recovery. So just a little bit first, a couple practical things that began to work for me was moving away from what I thought worked. Like I told you, it was my safety net to exercise. If I could do something that I knew burned a certain number of calories, then I felt like I could justify what I ate or what if I had eaten too much. It was my balancing, and I knew exactly what each type of exercise would do for my body, and I knew what made me feel safe. So one of the things that I began to do was to do what I didn't know how it would work, if that makes any sense at all. It was to begin buying foods in portions that I had no idea the calorie count on them. Maybe they didn't have a nutrition label, or they were portioned differently, or that's maybe a poor example, but doing exercises that I didn't know how many calories it would burn. I started doing yoga. I knew running was safe, so I moved away from what I knew was safe and decided to try something that I didn't know how it worked. It was a trial and error thing. If I tested these boundaries, if I did something different, would I still be okay? It was testing the waters, trial and error, proving to myself that I did not need exercise or anorexia to be safe, to be healthy, to be okay, to be thin. That was not my salvation, and in fact, it was my damnation. So that is just a bit of a practical thing that I would suggest trying if you find yourself stuck in an addiction to exercise. Pick something you haven't done before, something that you don't know how it works. If you've always done spin classes, try going for a walk. There may be therapists that suggest you don't do any exercise, and that may be a goal. But in the meantime, start to shift. Start to just move away from something and try things that you don't have the perfect answer to, that you don't know how they work. And then these are the couple verses that I hope encourage you as much as they did me. I'm reading them from my computer screen, so I hope it's not too distracting to you. The first one is 1 Timothy 4:8, and it says, "While bodily training is of some value, godliness is of value in every way, as it holds promise for the present life and also for the life to come." For me, that meant that I needed to start focusing on how I was training my spirit more than how I was training my body. And it's kind of as if I had often thought maybe God didn't really care as much about the minutia of my eating disorder, and that verse really just pricked me in the heart. God knew. God knew my tendency to focus on my physical exercise, and He specifically pointed to me that that was not what was important to Him. And the second one, understanding as I began to, that my eating disorder was idolatry, that I had a passion for something besides God. And this is Titus 2:11 and 12. It says, "For the grace of God has appeared, bringing salvation for all people, training us to renounce ungodliness and worldly passions, and to live self-controlled, upright, and godly lives in the present age." So that was telling me I needed to look to the grace of God to say no to my worldly passions, which for me, my eating disorder was my passion. It was my God. I hope this makes some sense to you. I hope you can relate to my experiences and that the verses that really spoke to me mean something to you as well. I'd love to hear from you, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.